Hello again and welcome back. In this video we're going to show you the second variation of doing a half African flower hexagon. In the last video we showed you the one with the point at the top, that's version A. This video we're going to show you the one with the flat top, which I'm going to call version B. I'm going to start off by doing a slip knot. I'm going to put that on the hook. I'm going to start off by chaining 5. And joining it to form a ring with a slip stitch. And then I'm going to chain 3. And that's going to make a false treble. And in this round we normally do 2 pairs of trebles into the ring separated by a stitch. So if that's one false treble, we need to do a chain. And then I'm going to put 2 trebles into the ring. So now we've got a false treble, a chain and 2 trebles. So I'm going to chain 1, put 2 more trebles into the ring. So we've now 2 pairs and a single. I'm going to chain 1 and put the final pair into the ring. So we've 3 pairs of trebles and a single one, and we're going to finish off with a single treble into that ring. And I'm just going to yarn over and pull through to fasten off. And that's our first round. 3 pairs of trebles and 2 single trebles. So on the standard African flower hexagon, each of these spaces has 2 trebles, a chain 2 and 2 trebles, with a chain between each of the spaces. And we start off exactly the same way, so we're going to just add our yarn. And I'm going to chain 3 to make a false treble. And because this is only part of the flower, that's where I'm going to start. And it's exactly the same if you're doing a full flower. You chain 3 to make a false treble, then you chain 2 to start the pattern, and then 2 more trebles into that space. And then we're going to chain 1 and start working in the next chain space. And this is as per the standard flower, so this is 2 trebles. Chain 2 and 2 more trebles back into the same space. I'm going to chain 1 to move over to the next space and do the same again. We're going to have 2 trebles, chain 2 and 2 more trebles. Now because we're only doing half a flower at each side, we're only going to do half the pattern. So I'm going to chain 1 to move over, and then 2 trebles, chain 2, but instead of putting 2 trebles in, I'm just going to put 1, and that'll be used to help our structure. Now normally with the full one we would work our way all the way around and just continue on onto the next round in the same colour. However, because I want to make sure that we're working on the right side, I'm going to fasten that off and rejoin back in here. So I'm joining my yarn here so that all the stitches are on the right side of the work. Now the pattern for these is we do 7 trebles and a slip stitch, but because we're only doing half a flower here, I'm going to do 4 trebles, and I'm going to start off with a chain 3, and that counts as our first treble, and I'll put 3 more trebles in there. So I've now 4 trebles, which makes half of a petal. I'm going to slip stitch into that space, and I'll continue on as before with 7 trebles into the chain 2 space. I'm just going to slip stitch into the gap between the 2 petals and 7 trebles into the next chain space. Slip stitch into the gap between the 2 petals, and we're going to finish off with a half petal, so I'm just going to do 4 trebles into there. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through and fasten off. So there we have our half of the flower. For the next round I'm going to revert back to my original colour, but you can use any colour you want, and we're working a double crochet in between the stitches. Just tidy that up a little bit. So I'm going to chain 1 and do a double back into that space, and then I'm just going to work along, doing double crochets all the way along. Until we get to the dividing line between the petals, and I'm going to do a long double between there, and then carry on all the way around doing a double crochet, working between the stitches, not into the stitches. until we get to the stitch between the petals where we do a long double, and that's to separate the petals off. And again there we have our long double. I'm just going to finish off there. I'm going to yarn over and pull that through and fasten off. Our final round is worked in our border colour, and I'm just going to go into the first stitch and I'm going to fasten on. And as we're at the top of the petal, I'm going to chain 3 to make a false treble, chain 1, and then work a treble into there, because that's the top of our petal, and I'm working trebles into the next 3 stitches along. Going to find the centre of the next petal, which is that one, and work back 3 and put another treble in there, and then trebles in the next 3 stitches along. And in the final one, because it's the top of the petal, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to work another treble into that one, and then trebles into the next 3 stitches along. Find the centre point of the next petal, which is there, and work back 3, trebles in the next 3 stitches, so we've got a row of 4 trebles, and in the centre one I'm going to do a chain 1 and another treble, and this gives us the shape of the hexagon. And then to work the way down the other side, as before, 3 more trebles, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. And we want to count back from that stitch 3 and work in 4 trebles, and in that final one I'm going to chain 1 and work in another treble. And then I'm just going to yarn over and fasten that off. and that is version B of the half African Flower Hexagon. All that remains to do is to weave in any ends and sew it into our project. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing for more crochet projects. Thanks for watching.